Hello, this is David Flanders. I'm from the OpenStack Foundation, and today I am here with Peter. Hello, Peter. How are you?
Hello, I'm
Where
fine.
are you joining us today, Peter? Where are you sitting in the world?
I am in the southeast part of Sweden, in a town by the coast called Karlskrona, where we also have our headquarters.
Oh, excellent. Well, I look forward to visiting one of these days. One of the nice things about OpenStack around the world. And of course, Peter, you are representing CityCloud. Do you want to tell us a little bit about CityCloud?
Yep, the company is called City Network, and we have an OpenStack-based service that is called CityCloud that we offer to our customers from a variety of small private companies up to big enterprises.
And absolutely, I'm just actually showing right now your CityCloud data centers, and you've got quite a few. Do you want to talk a little bit about where all those data centers are in the world, Peter?
Yeah, we have 6 data centers that are located in Europe and in US. We have 2 data centers in US, one in Buffalo and one in Los Angeles, and we have 4 data centers in Europe, 2 in Sweden, one in London, and one in Frankfurt, Germany.
Excellent. And I'm just clicking on them now. If people have questions about where they can find a city network, CityCloud, just check out the OpenStack Marketplace, type that into Google, and you will be all set to go. So, Peter, today, what are we talking about? We are talking about how to use these data centers incredibly easily, actually, with the Shade SDK, the service development kit called Shade. And which data centers are we going to be controlling today?
Today we are going to demonstrate how to use Shade in a somewhat simple way, how to authenticate against the keystone, and basically how to spin up a server, and we are going to do that towards the London data center.
Very cool, the London data center, excellent. Okay, so I'll let you switch into IDE mode and get your code going, Peter, and while you're doing that, I'll show our users some of the different documentation that they'll need for this. One is obviously what I'm showing now, which is the Shade SDK, and you can literally just type in Shade and usage and OpenStack into Google, and you'll be able to find it. There is also the OS Cloud config library, which again, if you just type in OS Cloud config and OpenStack into Google, you'll be able to find it. All very easy. Those are the 2 Python libraries that we'll be using. So you do need to know a bit of Python. However, I think I can successfully say, Peter, you've just gotten going with Shade yourself. You're, I guess we could say, a newbie getting
Yep.
going with it. How have you found it? What's it been like for you?
Well, for me, my background is I'm working as a support technician, sysadmin, and not really familiar with Python coding. So for me, it's been trying to learn and understand how that works. And but after some Googling, because Google is your friend, I've started to make sense into how Shade works. And we are also working with Ansible, and Ansible uses Shade, so it's quite a logical way to manage your stacks and your environments and so on.
Yeah, and
And
it's incredibly easy. I mean, that's really what a lot of people have said. So, Peter, what are you going to be taking us through today? We're obviously looking at CityCloud here. If I want to get access to CityCloud and start using your data centers around the world, what do I need to do? Where do I go? Obviously, you type in CityCloud into Google, and I'll get to this website. But what do I do from here?
Well, what you do is you type in citycloud.com, and you will end up at our website that you see in front of you here. And the first part is actually quite easy. You just go and click sign up and register your email address, and you will receive an email with a link in. You click on that, and you fill in your company information or your information, and verify your account, and then you are basically good to go. There are some steps that I want to show you that you will need to perform before you can start using Shade, and that is creating your native API user, and that you do from inside our control panel.
Excellent, and a lovely control panel / dashboard it is. So what do I need to do then to create that user profile with CityCloud once I've logged in?
Once you've logged in, you will land on this page, the dashboard here, and you will have all your options in the left menu here. What you want to do is you want to go down to the API port and click that one, and next step is to click the native OpenStack API port.
And of course, what's cool about this is obviously CityCloud has its own set of APIs, which is obviously to help its customers. It's got some very important customers, but it also has what are the nice open source OpenStack APIs, so that you're able to use it a little bit to a wider community.
Well, we use today, if I understand your question right, the basic OpenStack APIs that are out there. You can use the Cinder, the Glance, the Nova, and so on.
Excellent. And so those are those listed there. So those are all the endpoints for the different services that OpenStack provides. Glance being obviously the image service. And then obviously you'll have all the other, Neutron there, which is the networking, Swift, which is the storage, volume, storage, so forth and so on. So all of those APIs are there. Which one of those API endpoints are we going to be using today for Shade?
For Shade today, we're basically just going to run against Nova. We are going to create a server. Oh yeah, of course, we're going to go against the Keystone as well for the authentication, of course.
Excellent. Yep. And so Shade is built into OpenStack, so it comes along with it, hence being able to hit the Nova endpoint API. And then Keystone is obviously the authentication endpoint so that we can get access programmatically. So show us how to do that, Peter.
Yeah, well, first of all, you need to create your user, which is really simple. You click Create User. You add your username, your password. You can set for all zones. You also can steer what tenants or projects your user are supposed to have access to. This goes along with some of our security thinking that we would like to profile us as.
Cool. So you've essentially got us going there. I mean, all those little codes there that read KMA1, Stowe 1, London 1. I'm assuming those have something to do with all the data centers you guys might have. What's the meaning of each one of those?
Yeah, these are the region names, and that will be an essential part of your clouds.yaml file that you will create to authenticate against the Keystone. And KMA1 is, of course, Karlskrona, where we have one data center. LAN 1 is the one that we are going to use today, and is, of course, London. We have Buff as in Buffalo, LA as in Los Angeles, and Fra as in Frankfurt. And we also have Stu as in Stockholm.
Which is very cool, because to be able to control all those data centers with just some simple methods, less than 3-4 lines of code, is a nice way to have all the resources of a data center available to you with very simple ways of doing it.
Yeah, we only use one Keystone at the moment, so that is what makes it so easy for you to just switch between regions, or adding all the regions to clouds.yaml file, not having to work out how to authenticate against different keystones.
Cool. Okay, so we've created a user account. We've obviously got our key for being able to be a user on your data center. What's next?
Next one is going through the clouds.yaml file, and let me just switch here to that part instead.
And while you're switching, I'll actually just show people the essential library that they'll have to have, which of course is our OS Cloud config library. So again, you can just Google for OS, which is obviously for OpenStack, and then cloud-config. And it's as easy if you're on Python as just hitting import OS Cloud config. And this is the library that allows you to interact with the Keystone service, which is the authentication service, which will allow you to control all your different clouds. And that's not only CityCloud, but that's all any other OpenStack cloud you might use as well. So you can use OS Cloud config to get into other data centers around the world, giving you really an incredible access to all the different libraries, of which, again, if you want to check out the different data centers, just check out the marketplace, and the marketplace will show you where all the different data centers are. That is, if you're not very happy with, obviously, CityCloud and the service they provide, which they get very good reviews, actually. If you look on their reviews here on the side of their marketplace, they're a very popular cloud. I was very pleased to see that. Anywho, back to Peter. Peter, talk to us about this clouds.yaml file, which is an essential part of OS Cloud config. What are we looking at here?
Well, here we are basically looking at the authentication information that you need to provide to be able to authenticate against the Keystone. You have, of course, your clouds, your name of your cloud that you want to call it. Then you specify the region name, which in this case we are going to use London, LON1, and then you have the auth information. There you
so
add
what's
in.
nice about this really is obviously CityCloud. It's a very simple file. It's a cloud. What's the name of the cloud? And then it's saying which data center within the cloud.
Exactly.
Couldn't be more simple. And then it's just a bit of auth. Walk us through the auth then, Peter. What's that all mean?
Well, we are using Keystone version 3, and that requires you to add the username, your password, of course. You add your tenant ID or project ID. I add it twice just because it helps me not having issues with authentication. You have your auth URL, and you have your user domain ID. All this information you can find from in that part where you created your user. You have your domain ID there, you have your tenant ID or project ID listed in the end of all these different endpoints.
Yeah, and it's nice with all those UUIDs because you can just grab those identifiers and throw them into the clouds.yaml. And of course, what's nice about this is with clouds.yaml, you can start to add in additional data centers from CityCloud by just obviously copying and pasting everything from region_name LON1, and then obviously adding additional data centers, whether that's in Germany or LA or Buffalo or France or so forth and so on. I hear you guys are also thinking about having a data center in Asia.
Yeah. Next one's up is actually Tokyo.
Amazing.
That's coming,
great. So you'll be worldwide. That's brilliant. Okay, yeah. So Peter, we've got our clouds.yaml file, which is brilliant, and we can add in more data centers to it by doing that. What am I going to do with the clouds.yaml file to make sure that it works with the CityCloud that I'm trying to connect to?
Well, next step is actually we can run a simple test to see if it works. I have a shade_test.py file here, where I will import Shade, of course, and I will then use my clouds.yaml file to authenticate, and that is this part of the code here. You will have your cloud.
So just to make sure I understand here, obviously you've created a Python file.
Exactly.
You've done the first step, which is, of course, is to import Shade as a Python library.
Exactly.
And then once you've done that, you're able to reference by you're able to say, okay, now that you know what a cloud is, I want you to be able to use this cloud from the Shade library, and then you're pointing it at a server. So, and then hopefully that's going to print us out showing that it's connected to the server. Is that right?
Well, this is basically going to print out information about the server that we have here. This is the UUID of one of the servers, or the server that I currently have in the London data center today. So we are just going to type in Python and shade test py. I don't know if you see this one right now.
No, I'm still looking at the test.shade file.
That's my bad. Give me 1 second here. I'll just switch.
No worries. As you're doing that, I will show everybody one of the nicest little reference documentations here, which is the Shade usage library. So these are all the methods that you can use, and in fact, the method that Peter was just talking about, the being able to access the server. These are the commands inside of here. So you can do everything from get servers to get bare metal, which is another type of resource, or even get Bay model, which Bay model is based on the containers. So of course, OpenStack supports not only virtual machines, but also bare metal as well as containers. And I'm sure we'll have lots of more fun resources in the future, which OpenStack will continue to support. Okay, Peter, so back over to you. We're in your command line now. I can see that nice and big as well. So what are we going to do to test your shade file?
Well, we're basically just going to run a Python command. Let's see here. There we go. We are going to run this command to test the file, the clouds.yaml file, and of course we're going to test that I wrote my shade_test.py file correctly. And by hitting enter here, we will hopefully get a result. And yes, we do.
Excellent.
We get
that's nice, because that shows that's good error code checking here. We can see lots of information. Obviously, we could parse it out, but obviously, it's returned a response and built something. What's it done, Peter?
Well, basically, it shows information about the server, which what floating IP it has, what fixed IP it has, and so on. When I created it, and if I have volumes attached to it, and so on.
Excellent. So this is basically return. It's saying, now that you've created a server, here's all the information you need to know about that server. Everything from users to IP to obviously there's a lot of UUIDs in there in terms of the identification of the different resources associated with that server. But it's a great little message to be able to know what to do to change your shade code from there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is always fun to know, but I know you want us to run some more code, so I'm just gonna jump back into my Sublime editor that I like to use, and we are going to jump back there and look at a little more. For me, it's a little bit more advanced.
Excellent, absolutely.
From not Python coding background.
Okay, so you've got, this is another iteration of your file. It's obviously another shade file, as it's a Python file, but this time you're obviously taking it beyond just testing shade, and you're actually doing some cooler stuff with it. So walk us through the code, Peter.
Yeah. First of all, we are importing shade and other functions that we want to use in our file here. And we, of course, call our clouds.yaml file at the second line here, this one. Next part is actually we are listing up information that we will need. In this case, we are going to create a server. So we are listing up the resources that we need. We need an image, UUID in this case, and it is a Ubuntu 16.04 image.
And of course, by flavor, it's really talking about the operating system that you can use there. So Ubuntu being the very popular Linux distro. So, and I'm sure you guys have got tons. I know we haven't shown it, but I know you guys have tons of different flavors or other operating systems on hand for virtual machines, let alone containers or bare metal.
Yeah, we try to offer a broad variety of operating systems for our customers, but also using functionality that is built in OpenStack, allowing our customers to actually upload their own images to use if the ones that we
Always
offer
nice to have
isn't
choice.
available. Exactly. Next part is we are giving it a flavor, and by that we mean how many cores, how many gigabytes of RAM. In this case, we have a flavor, and that is 1 core and 1 gigabyte. I haven't added information about it, but the default system disk size is 20 gigabytes. So that is the total amount of data you will be able to store on this server. We are calling it test-server2. And next part is that we are creating a keeper so we can SSH to the server.
And obviously this is really important because this is beyond just doing the API call, but this is actually getting access to the root of the server itself.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this is perhaps I would like to say it's a more secure way to access your server and control access to it than just using normal username password access.
Excellent.
Yeah. Next part is the part where we send in the command to create the server. So we are using the cloud.create_server command, and we send in the parameters of the name of the server, the image ID that we want to use, and the flavor, and we add the wait part to it to be let the server build properly, so the code doesn't run past that one and it creates errors and so on and so forth.
And again, that's just something really nice built into the Shade library, which is an ability to actually do some queuing to allow the server to build and continue to ask the server, are you done yet? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Exactly. It could cause errors otherwise, and you don't want errors.
Yes, everyone hates errors.
Exactly.
Cool. So those are all nice little features that you've utilized in that server equals cloud.create server. That's just kind of utilizing the features from Shade, which of course people are able to find by looking at that shade.usage guide and looking at its features and capabilities. So what's this last bit of code, Peter? The response equals os.system.
Well, once we have created your server, we perhaps want to test so that it gets its IP, then you can connect to it from the internet. So we add some Python code to basically run a ping on the server. First, we have the code print the public IP address or the floating IP address up here. Then we use that one to do a 4-count ping. And if the response is in this case equals 0, we should, and that means it responds to our ping. We print that the server is up and basically it's ready for us to SSH into it. And
everybody wants public IP. That's
yeah.
If you don't have that, what's the point of having the cloud?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which Shade again offers a lot of features and capability in that, because it can be quite hard sometimes to know the difference as an application developer between all the different IP settings, whether it's public or private or something in between that's just talking to the network. So Shade gives you a really automatic way of saying, yes, please, I will have a public IP. I need one now. Would you please just go get it for me? And that's something all kind of app dev want. So let's do it. Let's run some code, Peter. Let's yeah, this is the moment of truth.
Exactly. Have I done my coding correctly? Let me just clear this one. There we go. And we are going to moment of truth.
That's right. So it's going and talking to the server, obviously. In the meantime, we can always. This is of course the new way we wait. This is the new waiting. Waiting for servers to boot is the great job of any developer. So obviously, Shade is handling a lot of the communication between this. Here we go. Oh, excellent. We do have some information. What do we have here, Peter?
Oh, yeah, we get an error that we actually already have a keeper that we have named Petter. That is my name, work, because it's my formerly work computer, and it's to use for Shade. So while we wait here, let me just...
And this is one of the nice bits about Shade, is that it's got good error handling, and I really can't express that enough. The fact that you're able to immediately read the error handling and know what the problem is allows the developer to go back. That's why we like doing these screencasts, is because, let's face it, code is very much about being able to handle errors and figure out how to go back and fix it. So nice to actually see some, getting dirty with the code, so to speak. So Peter, how are we gonna fix this?
Well, I'm a easy fixer, so and being a sysadmin, I'd rather go and fix the root cause, which is in this case that we actually have one created already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to delete that one.
Excellent. Okay. So talk me through what you're going to do to delete the key pair. And for people who don't know what a key pair is, an SSH key is basically, it has a private and a public code, which is a very cool way of thinking about it, because basically what you can do is you're able to have that private code with you, you're part of the key pair, hence the pair part, and then that public side of it. So Peter, you're essentially, are you deleting the public or the private version of your key pair?
This is the public version, because it is the public version that I'm going to send into the server. My private key is the one that I have created on my laptop in this case, and is basically the most important secret that you will have working with key pairs.
Is this the one tied to all your bitcoins as well, Peter? So we
I'm
definitely
I'm not gonna comment on that one.
Excellent.
Oh, there we go. Wrong one.
So you're going into Nova. Nova is the project name for basically its network and images. It's what really handles, it's one of the main projects inside of OpenStack, which handles both images as well as some of the networking capabilities. So being able to delete the key pair associated with any images or operating systems which Peter has created is really essential. So let's see, you've Nova, key pair delete, you're changing directory inside of Shade, and what are we doing now, Peter?
Well, the error that we had was that the key pair that we wanted to create in our code already existed. So what I basically did was that I listed my available key pairs that I have, in this case in London, and I ran the command keypair-delete and my keypair name, which is in this case a very easy fix for being able to run this code again. So
excellent. So we're ready to run it again. You've deleted it. So yeah, let's go for it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And the hamsters start to spin.
Exactly.
They go off to run. So Peter, are you planning on joining us in Barcelona for the upcoming OpenStack Summit?
Well, the thing is that we have actually submitted a couple of speakers, and not being one of them, I more fall under the grace of being able to just come along and enjoy the event, and in this case,
well, hopefully, Peter, I can get you to come along and maybe show some people in the Application Developer Lounge this code. And we've got some things planned actually, where we're hoping to do a self-paced labs lounge where you can win some Stacker swag points for cool memorabilia, like I'm actually wearing my Stacker swag hat right now. So
Awesome.
anybody who wants to come along and get one of these hats, come see Peter in Barcelona at the OpenStack Summit. And hopefully Peter will be able to show you how to do this, and you can win some free swag as well. So
Yeah, well,
I'm prepared for these things. I know that servers are going to have to boot, so I'm always ready for a pitch of some kind.
yeah. Now I have to go and convince the ones that decides who goes and who doesn't go. That my dear friend Flanders here has already promised that I will be there. So.
I've got you on video now. See how I do it?
Exactly. Well, the thing is that if we go back to what happened here, is that probably what happened when we ran the code was that the server wasn't really ready, or the networking part wasn't really ready and proper configured when the code part got to the ping. That is why we got a destination host unreachable. We got our public or floating IP listed up top that I have marked here, 37.153 and so on. So just to be sure, I ran another ping test, and this time it was successful. And so what we are ready now is basically SSH into the server. And just to prove that this actually worked and that I know what I'm doing, I will type in the SSH command. This is a Ubuntu server. We haven't added any user data into the server to specify, for instance, specific usernames. So we will just use the default name, and we will SSH to the wrong. There we go. Just mark that one again.
So obviously here you're using the secure shell host to go directly. So obviously Shade and OS Cloud Config is handling the API authentication. Now we're directly going through the data center into the server itself. And what Peter's just plugged in is access logging in. So there it is. We're now looking at a live working operating system, Ubuntu, on a server within the data center in London. What are we going to do next, Peter?
Well, this is as far as I have gotten so far. So if you have any more questions, I would be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I don't have much at this moment to show you.
Excellent. Well, I don't know that you need to show anymore. It's very cool because we've got a public working IP here, obviously. You've showed us how to ping that. We've got the operating system. I guess what's cool next is hopefully, Peter, we can get you on another screencast to show us you putting an application on one of these servers so that somebody can start to play around with the different applications which CityCloud is able to make available through its cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Cool.
I can show you one last thing though, and that is how it looks inside the control panel now that we have created the server. We just go to servers and list servers, and we will scroll down to London, and there we will have our test server 2.
Oh, excellent.
The public IP.
Fantastic. Cool. The other thing I'll just quickly say before we sign off is obviously if people are interested in doing more work with Shade, there is an entire online tutorial where there is an application. It's called My First Application, My First Cloud Application on OpenStack. And there is complete documentation just right here that includes all the Shade information. And obviously what's cool is now that you know how to log into CityCloud, you should be able to start using that lesson online to start being able to play around with applications and use the different features inside of CityCloud. Peter, I want to thank you so much. Any last words of wisdom for our viewers?
Like for me and a lot of my co-workers and colleagues, Google is your friend, and if you have any questions, just let us know. If you choose CityCloud as your service to run this on, and we will do our best to try and help you.
And I can honestly say you guys are really just absolutely fantastic. Every time I've had a question or I've sent somebody to CityCloud, you guys have just been really friendly. It's one of those nice things about, you know, not uber big global, you know, cloud providers. You guys are actually able to respond. And most importantly, I guess what really makes sense is that you guys provide very good service to some very important business customers. I know you're not allowed to talk about all of them because you'd have to kill me if I talked about your customers and some of the important people you take care of. But let's just say there's very important financial players and other people who carry important private data. So yes, I would give an absolute thumbs up recommendation to you guys and your customer service. So
thank you.
Cool. Excellent. So I will look forward, Peter, to obviously doing another screencast with you on more features of CityCloud. And, of course, now that I've got you on video, we'll hopefully see you in Barcelona as well.
Well, I'm going to show this video as well and say that it's out on the internet, therefore it must happen.
That's right. The truth. Cool. Thanks again so much, Peter. Really nice chatting with you, mate. And, yes, we will catch you later.
Yep. Take care.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.